we're live, episode 144. Tagashi, it looks like at least one more week with his hiatus, and everyone that's a big Hunter x Hunter fan, I'm starting to understand what you went through in the old days when it was starting to slow down. And this guy, this is like the highlight of my, week as far as anime and everything. And this guy, did you see the King of Lightning, his video with it? He's got some like Asian guy bending over,
yeah,
screaming in pain. Oh my gosh! And he went on. Of course, he doesn't. King of Lightning. We are going to get to the episode. Anybody watching this? The King of Lightning is basically like, look, you're playing EverQuest or whatever you're playing, or some video. He just doesn't buy it. He thinks he's doing something else.
Yeah, I don't buy it either.
Right. It's just like a convenient excuse. And he even said, hey, he calls in to, whoever the publisher or whatever, says, hey, I'm kind of, we're on this boss, and we can't quite down it, and
that'd be awesome.
yeah, he's like, hey, can I just one more week, at least one more week. We got to down this boss in this game, and so that's kind of where they're at. But he's awesome. I mean, this is like torture. This guy is so awesome, and every week I wait for him. And also, he produces too much, which I'll say. The chapters are way too meaty. You could cut them down by a third or even in half. Okay, he's giving us too much, but also his artwork isn't. You just need somebody else to do his artwork. Well, anyway, let's go ahead and get into episode 144, and we can definitely talk more about this in a bit. Okay, let's go to now. In the beginning, excuse me. Is that Ging says, like, Pariston is like Netero and me, he just wants to have fun. So the whole thing, and this was kind of, it was not boring, but not very interesting either. Because he's explaining to Cheadle in a very long fashion. I think this could have been really condensed down a lot more, but it still does give us. It's explaining the personalities. It's filling in stuff we didn't really understand about Netero, and it's talking a lot about. He's really spent a lot of time trying to explain Pariston to us, and especially in the future, even more. So that's interesting. And also Cheadle, also get into the whole thing with her and the factions and everything. And he says, look, you should have tried harder to win. You should have cheated or done whatever, because we've already seen Ging is pretty much he's going to do what he doesn't play. When he's playing the game, he's not playing a game. He's playing to win, right? So, and it's kind of what he's saying to Cheadle, but he's like, look, you're an open book. He understands you. It's you're predictable. Your morals, you're about your balance. You're built by the book, by the manual, and he just understands that. And Pariston's gonna play you because he's not playing to win to be chairman or to lose, right? And what it really which kind of baffles her, but he wants to control who's chairman. He doesn't want to be chairman.
Right.
Okay. He just wants to make sure that he has someone in there where he has free reign, do what he wants. Okay, because this is Pariston is. This dude is smart, man. He's no dummy. He's crazy.
I like his way of thinking. That's all I can say.
He's a complex. There's a lot more about Pariston you don't know yet, there, dude. Get ready to get Oh boy, yeah. Dude. He makes Tagashi makes complex people in his characters. He's complex.
Yeah. I'd really like to know where he got the inspiration for Pariston.
Well, he said Paris Hilton.
What?
Believe it or not, Paris Hilton. Somebody that part of his personality. Somebody who wants to be seen, looked at, showy. Because he is.
Paris Hilton's dumb.
Well,
she's not dumb.
Well, I mean, I don't think that was what the angle he was going at. I mean, I think it was the looks is what he went. I mean, a game show host has nothing on Paris.
I said Barb Barker.
No, yeah, I mean, this guy would come out like an ostrich boots and like a yellow vest. I mean, or orange vest. You know what I mean? I mean, this guy is just he wants to be seen. you know.
He got his inspiration from women?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's where he said he got the name, Paris Hilton.
Well, that makes more sense now.
Yeah. So, all right, back to this. The temptation to go past this is pretty big, but we're going to try in this one, at least until after we get here. Okay, the game. All right, and then he talks briefly about. Then we get to more interesting stuff. It's about the Chimera cocoons, the 5,000, and he's like, yeah, the day that Netero blew himself up, and like I say, it makes it seem like he didn't agree with that, or you know what? I have a feeling again is not somebody that would blow himself up, right? He's again is somebody that's going to find. Yeah, right. But he's going to find a way. He's someone that's no matter what is going to find a way to win. He's like, to me, I'm an old guy, right? He's like Captain Kirk, Star Trek. He's going to find or create, more likely, even if there isn't a way out, he will create a way out. Okay. They had this program in I'm just going to say this, Star Trek, where you can, the Komai or whatever, it was some made-up thing.
Oh, yeah,
it was
a scenario.
Yeah, it was designed to make the person fail. There was no way to win it, okay? And so they would go and they would have to learn to deal with failure, right? And he went and he hacked the computer and he passed. So no matter what, he's going to find a way out, okay? And I think that's what Gin is kind of like. I don't think Tagashi was basing it on Captain Kirk, but that seems to be the kind of person he is. He's not going to blow himself up. So I don't think he was respecting that too much. But anyway, 5,000. Yeah, go ahead.
But there wasn't a way for them to beat the Chimera, for them to beat Miriam.
Sure, because Gin, he wasn't up against Gin. I'm telling you now, if Gin would have been against him, he would have found a way.
Gin is more powerful than Netero?
No, I think he's smarter than Netero.
Netero was insane.
Now, I think that
it's possible then.
I think, well, I mean, you've seen how cagey this guy is. Netero wasn't that. I don't think he was that cunning and calculating. He wasn't that kind of guy.
No, he was just way overpowered.
Yeah. It's another reason. Yeah, go ahead.
But his attacks weren't his attacks were not effective against the ant.
Right.
What Ging would be.
Yeah, but remember the concept that runs all the way through this series: rock, paper, scissors. Okay, just because someone's physically more powerful doesn't mean there weren't other methods in order to win.
Right.
And again, would have found. I'm just telling you my own opinion. But anyway, I don't want to get stuck on this and bogged down on this. But yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I saw where the Zodiacs were kind of upset that they didn't get drafted to go fight the ants. They're talking about his death initially.
Yeah, and see, and I'm not 100% sure about. Well, like the people that he picked, if you look at it, really weren't enough. So I think that was another thing with Netero. The group of people he took in there really weren't enough.
It was like he wanted a challenge.
I think so.
I was gonna throw have you noticed all the people that Netero picked? Like they all like similar to how he fights. Like they go all out as well.
Yeah.
Because like Knuckles went all out. And then same thing with Meryl. Like he went all out. He had a lot of fights. It's the same personality as Netero. Like they just went out and fight.
Yeah, and I think they were just there to try to hold the rest of it back when Netero went after the main guy. I think that was his whole plan. Morel was actually a sea hunter. That's pretty crazy too. That he's way more powerful. But then again, the matchup that he got, we're really going back for a minute. The matchup that he got was perfect for him. And that guy decided to use water. Water-based. It's like you just messed up, dude. You totally. And he's like, this guy lives underwater. He can hold his breath forever. All right, back to the anime. 100 hunter airships retrieved 5,000 Chimera cocoons. Okay. Now, and then he talks about, and you don't know, right? You didn't know that. Maybe you should know some some people that are pilots. He says engineers, but engineers aren't going to be out working on pilots or maintenance, right? Then you would know that. So you see, Gin has connections. Do you know what I mean? He's similar to, he's talking about the similarity and they want to have fun, but he's, well, like I said, there's stuff you don't know about him yet. He's way more manipulative and cunning. There's a cunning aspect to him that his son doesn't have either, which is kind of actually interesting.
But
and then we
yet.
get to, and then we get to the endorsements. People start endorsing Cheadle, you know, and then I'm going to try to make this part quick until we get to Luorio's speech, because that's where it all blew up for me. Right? It's crazy. And way too much information, that guy, right? And then he goes, you know, you get the endorsement, and they talk about the different factions in the Zodiacs, and she's like me, she's for balance, and all this kind of stuff. And then Cheadle has been learning what's going on. She's Cheadle, and she keeps doing it, and then she's like, okay, now I have to do something different, right? So, because Parison is sitting back watching us, playing us, right? And now I'm going to do the unpredictable thing. And then everybody's endorsing her, and Pariston's smiling over there because things are going the way he thought they would. And then she's like, I'm going to endorse Leorio. And it's like, what? and then she's like thinking, yeah, Parison, you're not smiling now, are you? And he got worried because he's like, oh my God, this guy's like a loose cannon. Could you imagine Leorio in charge of the Hunters? He's a loose cannon. Nobody knows what he doesn't know what he's going to do.
I would enjoy it.
Oh, it would be fun to watch, but Pariston's like, I can't have this. I need to be doing like a million different things off the books that nobody needs to know about. And this guy may start digging around, you know? And if he does, he won't stop. Right? He's going to start yelling and screaming, and he's going to cause problems, and all of a sudden you're going to get, you know, everybody else pulled in. It's just like, I got to stop this. So that was pretty crazy. And then Payan, the one with the rabbit ears, she goes, because Leorio's all kind of, you know, he's like, God, you know, he's just in a state of mind. He's worrying about Gon, and they get the election, and he feels guilty. You know, there's all this stuff. And so Payan goes Leorio and starts screaming at him, right, on him, and he snaps him out. He's just still worried about Gon's condition. And then we get into and I thought, oh my God, they're not good. How are they going to deal this, you know, some of the stuff he says in the anime? They just went ahead and did it. Leorio's speech. You know, he says, Leorio, the friend that will, he's the friend that will do anything. Even more powerful, I thought, in the anime, this was stronger than even in the manga, right? He brings up Gon's hero status, fighting the Chimera. If elected, I will treat the association like it belongs to me. And everybody's like, what? And he's like, yeah, my first command will be to order all of you to help save Gon. Gon is my buddy, my friend, but I only found out recently. So, I mean, he's going through all this turmoil because he's like, you know what? That guy's really my buddy. And like I said, he goes into, the guy's a hero. He's fighting the Chimera while I'm sitting here. And then we get into the whole personal life thing, right? That's the guilt. And he's like, and he talks about all this, yeah, I'm on the internet. You know, I'm self-pleasuring myself, chasing women, I'm drinking. And we're like, oh, my God, who would put this in a book or in a manga? Right, in front of everybody, with a microphone to the world, right?
You know, stressed out.
Oh, dude, he is. But it was believable. It was like somebody on the edge, absolutely being destroyed because his friend is looks like he's gonna die, right? And trying to do everything possible. And Leorio's loyal, like trying to do everything possible to save his friend. And it's just so transparent. He's not doing it for himself, right? And actually, people love that in him. I mean, that was what was crazy, is the reaction he got. And he was like, yeah, you know, maybe I said too much. And so I loved it. I loved the speech. Like I said, it's unpredictable. I didn't see it. It was crazy, and people loved it. And then Pariston. See, this is the gameplay here. He endorses Ox, right? So he's like, okay, now I need, because if everything goes this way, then Luorio will just win. So I need to split the other section, right? Some of the independents and everything. And so Luorio doesn't win, so I can keep this thing going until I can get the right person that I want to be chairman, right? And then there was one thing I didn't understand, is evidently Cheadle and Ox could communicate instantly with each other. Did you notice this?
Like
Yeah.
telepathically and stuff.
Yeah. She's like, "Could you hear me, Ox? Did you hear that or something?" She says that, and it's like, and he's like, "Yeah." And it's like, what?
But at first, as I'm like thinking about that, I thought like all the 12 zodiacs can do it within each other, but then I realized that Periston was one of them and
Right.
can't. So that was out of the question.
So I'm like, is this an ability that Cheadle has? She can link to someone or something? So yeah, to me that was a huge question mark, and I did not notice that in the manga. So does anybody get an answer for that one?
No.
No,
I
not
remember reading in the manga and not knowing whether they were able to talk to each other or they were just having separate thoughts.
Yeah, because he even said, "Did you get that?" I mean, it was like,
Yeah.
yeah. So that was there's evidently well, that's something that I'm sure will come out later. But there was a couple of things I want to throw in here real quick. Remember the crazy-looking guy that held up the signs? He didn't speak. He had like crazy eyes and Mickey Mouse ears. And he says, and I'm looking at the chapter now. It says, "To me, this isn't reality. Do as you like." And then he talks about, he's basically like, "Don't vote for me because I don't live in your reality," kind of thing. He's like, "Gang, don't just win. Don't just win and run away. Come back. Incidentally, would you like to trade the glorious white spear for the holy gold flag?" So he's out of his mind. There was a lot of little bits in here that was funny. There was some really weird stuff in here. And and of course we get the audience. It was really nice because in the audience you get to see a whole lot of people. You know, a lot of the hunters and everybody from the exams, and a lot of people they knew and everything. It was, I thought that was pretty cool. But anyway, let's go ahead and open this up. So what do you guys want to talk about in 144? Or excuse me, yeah, 144. Okay, sure.
I'm I'm surprised how Pariston can figure out how many votes everybody can get and manipulate it based on numbers.
Well, see, the thing is yeah, but see, he controls a portion of the vote. The new hunters, I can't remember, they call them a few different things, but there's hunters.
Oh,
yeah.
I've got a question on Dags.
Yeah.
So the association hunters, they're voting for whoever gives them work, apparently.
No, he controls.
No? Okay, never mind.
Yeah, he's running them. He owns those guys because they're not. Those guys are not good enough to get into the association. See, that's their loyalty. He gets them in, right, or tries to, but they're not up to standard to get in. So that's the way it works. So no, he controls those guys.
They're pretty much like the second-rate hunters.
Yeah, the thing I'm just going to say about elections, the thing you got to understand about elections is to manipulate an election. You're not looking at a landslide. You need to get everything close. All right, you want elections to be close, and then you cheat. Okay, so in reality, when everything, so he's got a portion of the vote, Cheadle, or people that want Cheadle, or this and that. So he's looking at all this, and he's looking at how they would come together. And the terror thing is Leorio all of a sudden got enough. It looked like potentially to win, right?
Right.
So once again, his move was to shave off enough of those, because what he's talking about is just enough to move like 3 to 5% of the vote. You see what I'm saying? It isn't when your things are close. You're just talking about a few percentage points this way and that, and so people that cheat or manipulate, that's fairly doable.
Now, right? Okay. I wanted to ask a few episodes ago. There was I've been jumping around, so forgive me. I think I watched out the 143 to get ready for that hangout last week, and I saw I think it was 143. I saw it, and I saw Hisoka take out a guy in a suit in his office building.
Oh yeah, yeah.
What was up with that?
Well, it was part of that faction.
And those guys were hunting Hisoka, and he gave him a reason to go take him out.
Well, they were, yeah, but the reason they were hunting him was because they were they were wanting to form their own. They were their own block, right? And so basically, the hunters were hunting them, so they wanted to kind of raise their stats and everything. So they wanted to. That they were a faction. I can't remember if they were. They were like separate from the hunters, but I think they were still wanting. Somehow they were wanting to manipulate or either I can't remember if they completely left the hunter organization or if they were trying to do it within as their own faction. But anyway, yeah, they were trying to do their own thing. And so they were hunting Illumi, and he went ahead and so he took out that whole faction. Pretty much got wiped out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. The thing is that the politics, he lays it out technically. Tagashi does. He does it technically, so he makes it. This is criticism here. He makes it boring. Okay. He lays it out like a stat sheet instead of just getting to, the core of what's going on. And he spends way too much time, giving us. It's almost like here's all the mathematical facts. Put it in your calculator and figure it out, right? And that isn't what you want with politics.
Now, what is so? I think after watching the long run, which was kind of boring, but all of that stuff made sense later on. So I'm kind of hoping that all this stuff is going to have some bearing on the next arc.
Well, yeah, but here's the problem, James, and I can tell you this right now. I have to keep going back and rereading stuff and looking at stuff over. I can't, like when I watch an episode, there's no way I can watch this once, right? And I get the benefit because I write a review for it, so I may watch it once straight through, and then I'll sit down and I'll stop it and make notes. And sometimes I got to rewind and go, what? Did I miss this? What was, So because there's stuff here, it's easy. Whereas a lot of animes you can skim through it and you don't miss much. Skim through this or whatever. If you don't do that, you're going to miss a lot of stuff. It's pretty deep. I think, like I say, I think he spends too much time the way he sets stuff up. But especially in the beginning. The beginning of arcs usually pretty boring. But anyway, okay, so I guess we're done with 144. We've kind of already talked about and we talked especially before, and I mentioned a little bit. What do you think about the whole thing of us getting back into the hiatus stuff here, the terror every week or whatever of the
man, I'm going through withdrawal right now.
I hope it doesn't extend too much longer, and I want to send him a Segway desk or something.
Well,
yeah,
I'd like it if he took like a month off, but I'd like more details into exactly why, and hope that he's not faking it. If he's trying to get inspiration from, let's say, video games that he's playing, I'm okay with that. Just don't say, "Oh, I'm hurt," and faking it. I'd like to know the truth.
Yeah. I mean, and that's another thing. We don't even know. We don't know if this is an excuse he uses for anything. Like I say, it could be carousing. He could be drunk right now in a Japanese massage parlor.
Get that Nuru massage on?
Yeah, he could be getting the Nuru on and all kind of other stuff. So I mean, we don't know with this guy. We don't know. I mean, is it real? Is it not? How can you have serious back problems and not deal with them?
Right.
It's just that's what, like I said, that's what terrifies me. If this is real and he's really got back problems, and the guy just as we were saying before we came on, if he doesn't realize that his back is, I think he's a year younger than me or a year older. We're somewhere around the same age. He's a year younger. Oh, that's right. He's about 5 months. Yeah, something like that. He's just a little older, or a little younger. No, he's younger. That's right. He was born in '66, so I'm like 5 months older than he is, something like that. So, if he doesn't understand that his body just can't, he's not 20-ish or 30-ish anymore, then I'm really afraid, because this guy is going to be, he's going to be like in a wheelchair or something if he doesn't.
Well, if you compare him to the author of One Piece, that guy he gets like 3 to 4 hours of sleep a night. And he can produce a chapter, every week, and then every once in a while he'll end up in the hospital. But you'll hear about it, like in the news, and then he'll be back to work, and then he'll take a week off every once in a while. But he's pretty consistent with getting the chapters out with, with Naruto and all the others.
So he seems to have some kind of balance.
Yeah, but you don't know what their setup is, how they write, how they do that stuff. You don't know how they do it. They could be completely different kind of people, how they have their room set up or their office.
Yeah, and Togashi and it may just be he's stubborn. I mean, you know how some people are. Once it's like, well, you can't do this. It's like, oh, they're just stubborn. They're just gonna, He's like, yeah, well, I'm just gonna, I've just known people like this. I knew somebody that had the gout and had like this. It's like the second time they had it at work. And the guy's limping and limping. There's pills you can take for that, right? Wouldn't do it. I'm gonna walk it off.
You can't walk it off.
I'm telling you now. I swear to you. So I don't know. I'm telling you. And everybody's like, dude, go. I mean, it takes like a week or so, whatever, to get better. But I mean, like, nah. So he's like a month or something. He's just walking and limping, and he's just. But like I say, and he didn't come across. He was an easygoing guy, but we all have these different composite personalities. And so I don't know. Like I say, Togashi just maybe one stubbornness would be, or he just may, or he may meet him and go, well, anyway, well, stubbornness and not too,
Well, he went as long as 2 years before, so you don't know how long this is going to be.
Yeah, because he, like I say, it terrifies me. If he doesn't have it figured out by now, he may not figure it out.
Yeah.
I mean, it's probably going to be like that Stephen King book, Misery. There needs to be, but a group of fans need to go over there and say, "Hey, we got an artist over here. We got Hero from Fairy Tail. We shanghaied him. He's going to do the art, and if you guys don't, and you're going to do the writing, or you're going to start losing fingers and stuff. So you just." I'm not feeling any pushback on that, by the way. So I mean, if that gets the manga out, that's what it needs to happen.
Some people gotta learn the hard way.
Yeah, I gotta learn the damn hard way.
Get started at the ankles.
Oh God.
No, start with the back.
But I just wish that's what he would do. Like I say, his artwork, it's more gothic than it is anime, but I just wish he would find somebody and he may be cheap. I mean, that may be the other thing. He may be somebody that's got millions of dollars. It's like, I'm not going to pay somebody, to do art. I'm an artist. That's what I do,
Yeah.
So, or he's playing video games. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, we just want to know.
Yeah, what is the truth here?
It just doesn't add up. I'm sorry. I have no way to verify it. But it just does not add up for me.
Well, I think a lot of people's bullshit alerts and alarms have gone off with this excuse.
Right.
So, I mean, so there's me. I don't know, Sean. What do you think? Do you think it's a BS excuse, or he's really got a bad back, or what?
Well, like, this is the first time I'm hearing all of this, but the way how y'all explaining it is like 2 to 2 doesn't go together. Like, it's not adding up.
Yeah, so
like how you saying, like, you're getting older, you're supposed to take care of yourself. Like,
yeah,
I'm not doing it now. And
yeah, when you're a kid, you can. I'm sorry, Sean. Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna add, like, and what Michael said, that he might be playing video games. Like, so this is like the first time I'm hearing all of this.
Oh yeah, he's a big fan of EverQuest, I think is what it is, and he plays that a lot.
Let me look this up. I think it's. I said EverQuest. Let me look this up.
Well, whatever kind of game it is, he's a big fan of that, and I think he gets his inspiration from playing those kind of games. So it could be one excuse for him.
It could be, and that's what's.
If it's like that, then I won't buy that his health issues.
Yeah, right.
Like, if you can play a video game, you can draw a manga.
I guess whoever's playing that kind of game and knows Hunter x Hunter, I guess if he sees them online playing, I guess that's
That'd be hilarious.
Get busted, video busting and playing online.
Get on there and say, "What are you doing?" You're supposed to be writing.
that could happen. Like reality wise, it could happen.
Yeah.
It's
So,
possible.
and his wife's a mangaka. She does Sailor Moon.
Right.
It's like, why? I mean, this is a mangaka family. It's like you don't know people in the community, and it's kind of a tight community from what I understand. You don't know people. You can come in to do the art or something. What the, you know? Well, anyway. All right. So, is there anything Hunter x Hunter wise before we go ahead and close things out here?
We want Tagashi back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just want a better explanation of the conditions and and what drives a person to set a condition.
Oh, you mean the whole thing with Gone? Well, I mean,
Yeah.
Kurapika.
Karapika?
Kurapika. God, that name mangles me. Oh, my brother-in-law has been catching up with stuff and everything, and that name's been mangling him too. He's like, grr. I want to say Kurapika. I want to switch the A and U. I just want to do this. I don't know why. But when I got to go Kurapika, it's like I'm going through a roller coaster. Just it's killing me. But remember the whole thing on his conditions. You know, it's really weird. The conditions are one thing in this that I'm kind of like, who validates this? It's almost like you would need a referee to validate your condition is correct or something. It's really odd. It's like the universe just knows, like the whole thing with Kurapika and having the dagger to his heart, right?
Yeah.
And he dies if he uses that ability on anyone that's not a spider. Well, who would know this?
Right.
Yeah.
And when he set those limitations on himself, I thought that was a little ridiculous. Like, really way out there. I don't know whether it's necessary or not to do that. But he does have those special powers that I guess he thinks he needs to limit them or something.
Well, no. I mean, he can do that thing. He can chain any of the spiders. I mean, he's a spider killer because his power is boosted up so much. Right?
Yeah, and you got. Oh, I was gonna say you gotta understand he has Emperor's time also to power him up even more.
Yeah, because he's a specialist.
Right.
See, but I thought conditions could only be set by conjurers. Is what's throwing me for a loop.
He is a conjurer. So. He is a conjurer, but when Emperor time comes on, he's a specialist.
Yeah.
So he can actually sets those limitations on himself.
Now, James, you understand that's his clan ability, right? Well, everybody Emperor time, and the Emperor time is they become specialists. They can do anything.
I know. Okay. Well, I was saying I thought that the being able to set a condition for using then was something only for conjurers or specialists.
Well,
but we have enhancers using setting conditions too.
Well, evidently, yes. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And I was going to say lastly, I see Nen transcends life and death apparently.
Well, the thing is we didn't know. This is one thing that I haven't understood. Like I say, the whole setting conditions with no referee. I mean, is it a fair trade? You know, to have evidently unlimited power to suppress the spiders, or he dies. Who decided that? I mean, it's almost you have to go to a nin judge, right, or something, and say, is this acceptable? You know, is there some kind of contract? There's just, I don't know. Was it referee that decided this was balanced? You know.
Right. Well, it's very limiting on his powers since he can only go all out on one faction, right?
Well, it's his chaining ability, I think, is the only thing that's limited. Anthony that's what I thought, what you're saying right now, and I believe that Anthony, who should be here, who is it, said he was going to be here, said that I'm not getting on to him. I realize life happens, but anyway, or he just couldn't get in. So, but anyway, I just lost my train of thought. So.
Anthony said something about his
Oh
ability.
yeah, he said it was just the chaining ability, his ability to restrain him, that the condition was put on.
Yeah, but isn't the chain ability his whole ability?
No. Each one of those chains does something different.
But they're all chains.
Yeah, but they're not the same chains. One chain restrains people. One does. They all do different things. So you can individually put a condition on.
So he can have overpoweredness and on 5 different factions using 5 different fingers.
He could, but he doesn't. Remember, he only has that condition on one chain.
On his
But what you're saying is he could put a condition. So yeah, I guess maybe he could have 5 different.
But it's a self-imposed condition, right?
Right, but see, that's where it falls apart. Okay, I didn't understand that well, I've already explained I don't understand that. Anyway, and that's what you're saying. I don't understand. It's a self-imposed condition.
And I think it's silly. I really do. Because you encounter an enemy, and then you're like, okay, I'm too powerful, so I'm going to put a restriction on, let's say, my ring finger, and that finger is going to kill this whole thing. What if more enemies start showing up?
Well, how about Michael? How about the conditions? How about X spiders? Does it work on Hisoka? He's an X spider. Is it only for current, or maybe future spiders, or people that are potential? People that have applied to be. Right. So there's a lot of aspects of this. I like the idea because the idea itself is balancing. That you get something, you pay the price.
It's balancing, right?
Right. But once we've gone beyond this with these setting conditions for yourself, it doesn't. For me, it all fell apart.
It would be really neat if, they keep coming up with enemies, and they have to use him every time, and he eventually had to use his toes or something.
He's got chains around there. He's got 10. He's got 10. He's got what? 20 conditions, and then we don't even want to start getting into any more appendages or anything like that. So, he could have chains everywhere. So
that's confusing.
Yeah, something like on the picture.
Well,
there's a theme running through Hunter. I don't think the spiders are all that bad. I mean, they were contracted out to do a job. I think the ones he should have be wrathful against are the ones who ordered their clan taken out.
Yes, but he was blinded by revenge, right? What you're saying is correct. They were just the contractors.
Right.
You talking about that big guy?
No, he's the James spiders. The whole group. He's got this thing. Why are you trying to wipe out a group when they're just the contractors doing the dirty work because somebody else ordered it? Right. Yeah. That's the person he should have. If you're going to swear revenge on, at least get it to the right person, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, because they're mercenaries.
And they had the eyes too, so I guess that kind of corrupted them.
Well, if it wouldn't have been them, it would have been some other group or groups, right?
Right.
I'm exactly with you, James. It was right on because it was the people that contracted out that are paying the money. It's the collectors that are the main problem. If the collectors weren't spending the money, these people wouldn't be doing this stuff.
Because the way the spiders are horrific. I'll say that. But their main motivation is to make income.
Right.
And I guess to take care of the trash heap they live in.
Well, it's like the elephants in Africa. People wouldn't be killing them for ivory if people didn't pay money for the ivory.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but with that, I'm having trouble understanding. It's not clear cut who's bad or who's good in Hunter x Hunter.
Yeah.
There's no leaf village,
Yeah.
It's like, I wonder what these guys are going to do now.
Well, and we've explored, like I say, we've hit on some of the things that make less sense, okay, the conditions thing. Even though on paper the idea of balance is fantastic, this whole self-imposed condition thing doesn't doesn't hold up very well. But at least it's explained. At least we don't have to go, well, how are these chains doing that? We don't
At least
know.
we don't have to pull a Naruto on them, huh?
Yeah, well, I wasn't going to go there, but it's been explained. It's been explained. Smoke and mirrors, and Naruto, they work a lot with gray areas because there's so much gray area that somebody can go, well, maybe in this, and maybe in that, maybe in this, because things aren't explained that well. But like I say, at least this is explained out well enough. We can go, well, Tagashi, we like what you were thinking, but we don't really agree. I think it's kind of BS. It's just a better way to do this. So let's see. Okay, we about done. It's going to be. I want to say one thing. It's the idea. It's like an apocalypse in a way because the anime's ending. It may be gone. As a matter of fact, we may not get anime. I guess that's a good question for you guys. Until it may be 2016 before we get any more anime, especially if we just keep getting less chapters, right?
Yeah. Well, they're letting Tagashi do whatever he wants to get the thing done, so maybe they should put more ropes around him.
He needs some conditions.
Yeah.
Yeah, he needs some conditions or something. Something needs to happen. It's definitely clear that he's out of control. We're not getting our manga, and something's got to be. Well,
we're addicted.
Yeah, we're addicted, man. He gets us addicted. He's like, well, going on hiatus again. It's like, oh no. People were afraid of this. This is like I said. I'm a new fan, right? So, we're all new fans here. So, we didn't go through what the old Hunter x Hunter fans went through.
Now, was the 1999 version completed, or does the 2011 pick up where 1999 left off?
Well, I think that the manga was if I understand, the manga was the same. It was just the original anime wasn't that good or something.
Yeah, I saw the difference. Like the 99 version, like it was horrible, and the 2011 it made the artwork better.
So did the 99 version complete the story?
Well, I just think they just didn't do a good job artwork wise.
Yeah, they had to stop it somewhere.
And I wouldn't doubt that. But I have to say the animators, the last group, they did an amazing job with the anime, didn't they?
Yeah.
They really. I thought it was just. I mean, wow.
I don't know. When I watch the depiction of violence in this anime, it makes me pause, man. It's like wow.
Well, like the Chimera Ants, you go there. I've said this before. And I'll say it again. The whole thing, you get a small little, you got little kids, brother and sister, the older brother and little sister. They're all just little kids, and they're out in the woods, and you're like, they're just little kids, Tagashi. No. And it's like, raw. It's like, no, this didn't happen.
When he did that, it's like, you're not really gonna do that, are you? And then he did it. It's like, no.
You didn't go there, dude. You didn't. Raw. And it's like, no. Oh my God.
Yeah, he hinted that it was coming because when they fended off a snake earlier, and then there was Animal's Revenge like 15 minutes later. It's cold-blooded.
Cold-blooded as heck, man. I mean, like I say, people die, they get killed. There's no one safe. No one is safe.
It was more graphic when the arc started, and then it just all went like very serious.
I think what a surprise for me for that arc has been that Kamugi was the most important character.
The character development of her, right, and the relationship. I mean, who thought in the end that it was going to be, they were going to be like, it was going to go out like with them together, right? Because she was just something. She was just an object for his amusement to help him pass time from being bored, right? And she was just trying to stay alive.
Yeah.
and who? I mean, that was a kind of, because like several people have said, I think Michael gets when you are. I mean, there's times you're sitting there like, he's going to kill her, right?
Yep. You just don't know.
On. Yeah, and she's going to get killed, and we're going to move on. And then he started caring about her, and then see, he keeps growing, right? His character keeps growing, and finally, and it was her. She was something. Well, anyway, I've said this before. I'll make it real quick. He was superior to her in his mind. He's the top of the chimeras are better than people, and he's the top of the chain of the chimeras, so he's just way better than this blind girl coming in, and he couldn't beat her. So she's destroying his entire view of how his universe works, his world, right?
Yeah.
But because of that, he grew, and I suspect that he couldn't have beat Netero without her, because remember the strategies and everything that he was deploying was stuff because he was better because of her.
Right.
So but he's having to sit there. I'm better because of my interaction with a human who I couldn't beat. So two things right there. It's not supposed to happen. The Chimera, right? Interactions with the people, and not being able to defeat them, right? So he has to go, man. If this is wrong by the way we think, what else is wrong, right? And so he internally has to start thinking, well, how do things really work? So, well, anyway, I got kind of into that. I found it amazing. So yeah, and then the shock. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And are the Chimera ants going to be you think they'll, whenever the story picks up again, are we going to see the Chimera ants again? Because I think they're making a point of picking up 5,000 Chimera ant hatchlings. I'm curious to see how they're going to come back in the story.
And they're all Nen users.
Yeah, all Nen users.
I would say yes.
You talking about when they all hatch, when they get to the new continent or the dark continent, whichever one, when they start hatching?
Well, I'm interested. I'm interested to see how they're going to play a role in the story again. Because I imagine that I imagine the hunters would be able to better deal with them the second time around.
I told Steve this. I said it would be a part 2 of the Chimera ants.
Yes, you did. You were correct. You were correct. Yeah, but this is Tagashi, and things are not going to work out. Like I said, I don't want to get into spoilers, but let's just say things may not work out.
Yeah.
The exact same way. And remember, the anime-wise, we already know Kite is a Chimera ant, right? Memories, his brain, okay. And I've said it before, and I'll say it again. So, in the Chimera ants work on hierarchy, right? Because the king was the king, the other Chimeras, they could either like him or lie to him, but he was still, they felt compelled to obey this guy to some degree, right?
Absolutely.
Yes, no, maybe. Yeah, okay. So, I mean, that was because that's the way the Chimera are. Because even Palm, that was only part Chimera, felt this, like, she was hurt that he was on his knees begging her. It hurt. The Chimera ant part of her hurt, right, to see this, because she knew what it was. Okay, so if Kite was born the same way as the king, right, although tiny and more human-like. So Kite is now a queen, a Chimera ant queen. So if the hierarchy holds, Kite would evidently have sway with at least a large portion, I would think, of those 5,000 when they hatch.
Yeah, why weren't they just destroyed? Or could they be destroyed?
Well, it was explained in the episode for Pariston to play with.
Oh.
Oh, with Ging?
Yeah, right in the beginning of the explanation to Cheadle was that it was for Pariston to play with. These okay. So.
Oh, all right, I know what you're talking about. All right.
Yeah. And I realize you didn't watch. You're just not quite caught up with the anime. That's what he said. So this is all part of Pariston's plan. He's got 5,000 Chimera,
It's going to get ugly.
Oh yeah. Oh, trust me, it gets ugly. Wait.
must- Oh,
Sean. Yeah, let me. I want to say something about the future. We're going to close this out shortly, but I want to say something about the future. If you, and I don't want to give you spoilers, but if you think the Chimera ant is dark, if you think it's dark and foreboding and vicious, wait till you get to the dark continent arc, dude. It gets real dark, and it starts dark and it gets darker, dude. It's like, oh, I mean, there's like pages I just look at like, oh my god, this isn't no. It's rough. That's why there's so much anticipation for us just to get going with it further. It's just once you can get through the, like, what is it, two and a half or 2 1/3, two and like 70, 3/4 of just reading text, you start getting into action. It's dark, dude. You start finding out some twisted stuff about people. It gets crazy. But anyway, so anybody got anything real quick before we close it out?
Not really.
We've pretty much squeezed all the toothpaste out of the tube. All right, well, that's going to be it. It's enjoyable. Unfortunately, this isn't where we want to be. We want Tagashi to start doing his stuff, but hopefully things will work out. Until next time, take care.